If I'm not trying, I'm flying. Nice haircut, by the way, doctor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
The
Actually,
one you hated.
I just realized I forgot to throw my hat on. But yeah, no, I cut my own hair. I just hadn't had a chance to do it for a little bit. My mom flies in from Canada tomorrow night, so I figured I should probably take care of it now. And so I did that earlier, and then up until 15 minutes ago, I was under my house because I was getting the crawl space work done.
I
And
saw that. I was
Yeah.
like, are you in like a am I going to see like a monster jump out at me or something like that? Because
Well, he's readying the crawl space for his mother. This is what he did not want to say.
Well, that's right. Yeah, it's testing the theory here before I get the cherry poppin' daddies in town.
Indeed.
how many people can be stuffed under my yeah?
Yeah, it's quite big. I hadn't
It
crawled
looked
under there.
roomy.
Well, and you didn't even see the furnace pit area. There's a whole like almost a basement area at the back. But I hadn't gone. I had seen that part, and I had hopped down there before when we first got here, but I had never actually crawled through the rest of the crawl space. And now that because they said they were done today, but I've had some issues with this company because I feel like I've had to babysit them. Some of the stuff like because they're also the ones doing the attic that did the attic rather. And the first day when they said they were pretty much done, they just had to blow in the insulation. I went up there and I was like, no, this is like, I would do a better job and I'm not a professional. So to their credit, once I pointed everything out and was like, I have an issue with this, they did fix all of those issues. But it was just surprising to me that I had to go in and do that because it looked really shoddy to the point where like if it was just me doing it, like let's say it's my first day on the job as a carpenter and I'm getting up there and I'm doing it. When I'm ready to head out for the day, I'd have been embarrassed by the work that I'd put in just looking at it. So I was a little frustrated that way. So to that point, I was like, well, I got to take a look at the crawl space here. But I had Cordelia when they said they were done, and they were like, yeah, we're all done, we're all good there. So we'll just be coming by for the quality control and just grab a few things later. But we're not coming back tomorrow. The boss will come in for the QC. And I said, okay, great. But I couldn't go and inspect anything because they said, do you have any questions? And I had Cordelia, so I couldn't do squat then.
Yeah,
so as soon as Elda
knew.
Yeah, exactly. So as soon as Elda came home, I went to the back, like in the backyard, and I pulled off the door to look inside, expecting to see it all like, vapor buried. It's kind of like the picture I showed you, right? Where you just see the white everywhere. I was expecting that in the back furnace pit area. And I open it up and I just see I see no vapor barrier laid down. I see like a big puddle of water and there's a bunch of debris and garbage in there still. It looks remarkably like it did before anything was started. And this is like a $15,000 project. Yeah. So so there's a lot of money going into the crawl space here to do this. So I was really shocked when I pulled the door back and saw this because I was like, well, what the heck?
What did you do?
Yeah. And so I called the owner, the manager guy that I've been working with, and he's like, oh yeah, well no, we made a conscious decision there because the vapor barrier on the ground is really to stop moisture coming from the dirt, and that's concrete down there, so you're not going to have any issues there. And so I was worried about if we put the vapor barrier down, that the water wouldn't get to the sump pump and you'd end up just with like a pool down there. And I hadn't hopped down there.
There is a pool.
Well, that's just it. Is I could kind of see it from up top, but I couldn't, I hadn't hopped down there yet because we were about to have dinner because it was right as soon as Elda got home, right? So I was like, oh, okay, all right. Well, I mean, that's weird because nobody else had mentioned that from all the other quotes. And the contract you and I signed did say 100% ground coverage. And there's a lot missing, but okay. I mean, I guess if that's the rationale, okay, I'll have to. And I told him, I said, well, we'll go over it in person, and I'll have to hop down there at some point to take a look at it. But I'll do my research and see if I agree with that. And so then after dinner, I was like, all right, because at first I was like, I'll wait till tomorrow because Elda will get home at 3. And I was like, well, then it'll be daylight. It'll be easier. And then I was like, you're going to be under the crawl space. It's going to be dark no matter what, dumbass. It doesn't matter if you go now or if you go in the day. So I was like, all right, screw it. So I grabbed the flashlight and I was like, I'll just go now. And so I go into the furnace pit area and it's like, yeah, he had said too, he's like, yeah, they should have pulled the debris. Sorry about that. But the vapor barrier not getting down was intentional. And I was like, all right, well, we definitely need the debris gone. So I go down there and I look, and yeah, there's all the debris and junk that should have been pulled out. But then there is a massive pool of water where I could splash around and play in it. And I'm like, this whole thing was about preventing moisture from getting onto my joists. And there's just a giant, because it rained yesterday. Okay. So all that was still in here, which I get. but that's why I'm spending the 15K so that doesn't happen in the future, which means like if you just leave it the way it is, it's going to happen again. And I was like, there's a fucking pool down here. And then I look, and one of the things I had talked to him about is because there was already a sump pump in here from when they did the renos, but it had a hole in it. So when the sump pump goes off, it was only probably operating at like 50% capacity because the water would come through the line, but the hole in it was just spitting the water back into the thing. So a lot of it was going up and out, but a whole bunch of it was just going back into it. So the sump pump's just recycling the water. And I had talked to him about that before, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, we'll take care of that. And so I, of course I lift the sump pump to make it kick on so I could see how it is. And sure enough, it's spitting the water back in. I was like, well, that's still got to get fixed.
There's your quality control.
Yeah. And then so when I had seen all this before I even climbed into the back. And when I get to the back, that's the picture that I showed you. And okay, it looks beautiful there. So they did a good job on all the stuff that I normally wouldn't put eyes on, which is good because but it's just weird to me because it's like the stuff that I will put eyes on is like done like crap. And the stuff that you could have kind of maybe cut corners on because it's a spot that I'm not going to probably put eyes on, except I would. I'm the sort that's going to go down there and crawl on my hands and knees and shimmy around like a snake to check it out. But the spot that a lot of people wouldn't, you could have cut corners on. The spot where I can stand up and turn around and look around looks like shit. And I was really shocked. But at any rate, they don't have their money yet. So like they've only got the 20% down payment. So they still have a big incentive to come in and fix all this stuff. But anyways, I'll stop because that's a big derailment. But yeah, I was under the house and unlike the bodies that will be placed there later, I was able to escape.
Yeah, because you don't want moisture to seep into those bodies because they'll decay, they'll smell, the smell will seep in.
Thank you, Michael. It's nice to talk to somebody that understands.
I mean, in a past life, I was a carpenter, so...
Yeah, I mean, I do have a regular supply of like car fresheners that I can chuck under there and give it the fresh like wintergreen scent, but I don't know if that'll cover up the decay if there's a lot of moisture down there. So exactly,
See, and you can only hang so many.
All I'm gathering from this is that your criticism doesn't stop with cinema. Oh yes. The Debbie Danner has joined the cast. God, it just never ends. There's just always something to complain about.
Between so the crawl space is like a 15K job and the attic was like a 6K job. So yeah, like if I'm dropping that kind of money, like I might go over it with a fine tooth comb, do the white glove test, if you will.
See, and when he went in to watch Quiet on the Western Front, he did pay $21,000 to watch that movie as well. Right. So that is why he was so nitpicky about it.
I said I liked the movie, you bastards.
Here's the thing. If you had spent like just that $15,000 on maybe like a bus that you could live in, or get into that van life, you wouldn't be thinking about any of this. You got like your insulation's done in 20 minutes if you're living in a van.
Listen, man, I feel you. And if it was 2 years ago, I actually was thinking about just getting like an RV and like setting up shop, traveling around to like different Ren fairs and stuff. So I thought about that, but a van I can't really pass on to Cordelia. So I'm trying to think of the next generation.
You can pass on to her.
Not like in the
just take the tires off.
Not in the event of here's your house, sweetie.
Absolutely.
Enjoy.
Yeah, you can replace the engine. The chassis can last for a long time.
Absolutely. By that point, you can convert it to a wholly electric automobile, and it's still it's the house she grew up in.
Yeah.
You can deed that along for generations.
Drive her to her wedding and host it all in the same spot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And conceive another child. The next generation can be made all in the same space.
Oh, dear.
It sounds brilliant.
I think I'll stick to the actual physical house, if you will.
And that sort of linear thinking is what makes you so hypercritical.
Man, I don't know if it's because I was looking at like houses and stuff lately, but I've been getting a lot of these like stupid Facebook videos for like how to generate wealth, and all these videos keep playing, and they're like, so what you need to do is you need to buy 2 properties every year for the next 10 years, and at the end of those 10 years, you'll have 20 properties, and your value will have appreciated, blah blah blah. And I was like, Who are these? Like, what does Facebook think that I do that this is a reasonable video to target to me? Because I'm like, buy 2 properties a year? Are you out of your damn mind? Like, and all these videos, like I've seen probably like 15, 20 of them in the last like week. and all of them like are from like these wealthy people just talking about how to get wealth, and it's like it's all like you have to be rich to do the shit they're saying. Like
you know how much carpentry I'm gonna have to criticize if I've got multiple homes.
That's my full-time job. I'll just be going to properties and just critiquing everyone's job.
Change careers midstream.
Say what you will, Shane, but when I talked about All Quiet on the Western Front, I had read the book and done my homework for the criticism. When I'm talking about the crawl space work here, I'm not just some Karen saying, I'd like to talk to the manager. I was on my hands and knees, shimming around like a little snake, going over the, and reviewing the details. So
he got certified as a carpenter just so he can make those critiques.
Okay, first of all, you want to make your little joke, sir. I have my first 2 years of college training and work hours towards a journeyman. So I'm halfway to a journeyman carpenter. Granted, so like literally I have the hours to do my third year, and then I would just have to do another 500 hours, and then I could write for the journeyman ticket. So
he's also a Prince of C-Lab, which is important to note.
Well, I'm just saying that you can
go there every couple of years and critique the architecture and the infrastructure.
I'm just saying you want to make your little joke about he's trained as a carpenter to blah, blah, blah. And it's like, actually.
He is. Oh, sorry. Actually.
Yes.
I've done 2 years of carpentry school. So I know what I'm talking about.
God, we are insufferable white men.
I did the framing. I did framing for 2 years. And I think I mentioned this before, but like during the Vancouver, like when we were in the build-up for the Olympics, but God, it is the worst work. Like that's why I got out of it as soon as I could, because it is miserable doing the framing work, because like you're building the walls and the floors and stuff. So when it rains, and it rains a lot in Vancouver, there's nothing above you. You're not like an indoor person, because I wasn't doing fine carpentry. So you just have to put on your rain jacket and let the rain pour on you as you build the walls. It is miserable work. So my hats go off to all the carpenters out there that are going to no doubt listen to this, because I'm sure that is a huge swath of the fan base here.
Well, you've yet again indicated to us that you know how to work with wet wood, and I've said that on many occasions. But we aren't even rolling, technically.
I'm all about that soft lumber.
And that is why this will be before dark? Yes?
I mean, you can edit things however you wish.
And I will, because this is a slew of content.
Indeed.
Yeah, all about that hardwood.
This is why you wait for the snap.
This is why you wait for the snap.
This is why I am the Thanos of this bitch. We just gotta...
Well, I like getting all the critiques of my negativity out pre-roll.
So he's not being judged for it.
That's right.
During.
That's exactly right. It's twice now that we've managed to get it out pre-roll, and I like that. I like that setup. Let Shane clear his chest, get it all off, and then when we go into it, we're all just a bunch of happy campers.
I didn't say anything. You're the one foaming at the mouth over here. I'm just sitting back enjoying my day.
Sipping my coffee. Loving
I was just letting you know what I was doing prior to, because I was almost late.
And as per usual, that took us 11 minutes. So rocking and rolling. Okay. Here we are. In 3, 2, 1.